Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a very quick and easy review video for you guys. Today we are reviewing the newest release from the Big Rubber Guys. The Major Wrestling Figure Podcast has released a new variant of Sergeant Slaughter. This time he has been released with a white shirt variant. Now when you go back to Series 3, this was the original Series 3 release of Sergeant Slaughter. Now, when you actually think about Sergeant Slaughter with the original LJN run, technically, this was actually the original design that LJN had come up with. And had Sergeant Slaughter actually stayed with the World Wrestling Federation, this is the Sergeant Slaughter figure that would have eventually been released. But he ended up signing on with G.I. Joe, and later on, of course, G.I. Joe was part of Hasbro. Hasbro had the contract for the G.I. Joe action figures, and we got that nice, perfect, upscaled LJN style Hasbro G.I. Joe action figure. And to me, I think even though it's not LJN, I do consider that to be probably the best LJN figure. So, one of the downsides with these particular figures, I keep mentioning it, all of these companies are constantly re-releasing the exact same figures over and over again, and I cannot harp on this enough. Yeah, it is nice to get different variations of the figures. I mean, you've seen my custom collection, okay? I've got a million of the same customs. Generally, when it comes to your original LJN figures, it's different. Once you finish the original collection, if you want to keep collecting and building onto your collection, you got to go the custom route. Now, when you get companies like Random Treasures and Big Rubber Guys from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, and a new company, Latuni, if you haven't checked them out, I recommend them. I've purchased a couple of Macho Man figures as well as a few different variations of Andre the Giant. So there should be a couple Macho Mans coming out in October. Andre should be coming out in December, either December or January. So those should be some reviews. But they're constantly coming out the same characters, and they're coming out with them repetitiously. And this was a New York City, I think Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken, release. So actually getting this to be actually purchased from the big Major Bendy store was pretty awesome. Now this is the actual back of this card. It gives you every single figure that has been released. So Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, Series 5, Series 6, Series 7, which we have not gotten just yet, Series 8. Now, the Bloody Ric Flair, I'm not sure what that should just probably just like a one-off. I think Harley Race, Jeff Hardy, and the Brawler might be Series 9. I don't know. I think these last three might be Series 10. I don't recognize these. I think I might have seen the Macho Man, but I think those last two might be Series 10. So those are actually different figures. That's pretty cool. Well, let's take a look at this figure. For those guys that may have already ordered this, check your packages. So as you know, I've ordered two of these. One for my loose collection, one for my mint on card or new and package collection. I had to reach out to the Major Bendy store directly because this is insane. I ordered two packages. The inside bubble where the figure is situated, the little plastic, the bubble inside for both figures was shattered. And I'm like, look, I'm a mint on card collector, and condition of the packaging is just as important as the condition of the actual figure itself. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to send me a new figure, but I would love to at least have them send me out a new plastic insert. So hopefully that is something that they can do. I'm trying to give you guys a good angle for this figure. So, all right. So, same exact pose. Really no changes outside of color scheme. I'm trying to look at the... So it looks like the utility belt has changed. The pistol belt. Yeah, so the original figure, if you kind of look over here, he did have an original pistol belt, kind of with the drill sergeant look, right? And even the drill sergeant hat itself actually had rank installed on this, where this hat does not. Sunglasses, hat, sunglasses removable. I think this is more like G.I. Joe-esque, right? Cobra Core. Yeah, so, I mean, I obviously never watched G.I. Joe. I did not read the comics. I did not collect the toys. I did not watch the cartoon or any of the animated movies or any of the live-action movies. I was never a G.I. Joe fan. So, in all honesty, I don't know jack about G.I. Joe. So I've noticed that these companies have started doing this. Hastel Toys started stamping the bottom of the feet. Figure Collection started stamping the bottom of the feet. And now it looks like the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast is starting to stamp the bottom of the feet. I don't know why, but I really like that. I mean, one thing, I like the fact that it gives you the year because, again, for fans 20 years from now, it's nice to know when these figures were released. It's going to kind of give you a focal point, right? A reference. But also, it kind of reminds you of LJN. And it kind of reminds you of the Black Card Series 6 figures. So you think about Grand Toys, you look at an Ultimate Warrior or an Andre the Giant, and you can have an original Andre Blackstrap, right? But you have an original Blackstrap, but you don't have that stencil on the bottom of the feet. It's still going to sell for a couple $100, but even if it's mint condition, you're probably looking at $150 to $200 figure, whereas if it had that actual stencil, you're probably looking like a $500 figure. And all it is a little marking on the bottom of the feet. So that right there, I think that's pretty awesome. Based on color scheme, absolutely. I appreciate the original Army design. It is more Sergeant Slaughter that I grew up watching. Whereas, again, this is actual G.I. Joe-esque, but even got the nice little bald spot. I mean, this is pretty freaking solid. So, and with the bottom of the feet, pretty awesome. So, not a huge review today. I mean, this video is gonna probably go less than 10 minutes. So, that's something, guys. Again, if you are collecting these figures and you did get this and you did purchase this one, check your bubbles. If you're a mint on card or new in package collector and you have no intention on taking these out of the package, at least check the insert to make sure that there's no cracks or any sort of damage, because I mean, I doubt that the company is going to do any sort of recall or anything, but I know a lot of fans are going to be absolutely ticked off, and if they literally have to go out and send out inserts to all their fans, that might be what they have to do. And think about this. Normally, these figures are $50 a piece, right? And with this figure, they shot the price up to $65. So, not only is it the most expensive figure that they've sold, but it's also the one figure that's had the most issues, so that's another discrepancy. But it is another figure to add to the collection. All in all, I'm going to say the same thing I always say about the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. They are doing phenomenal work. I cannot, say I cannot give my props or gratitude to the business overall. The overall figures have been absolutely insane. So a little bit of a crack to the bubble isn't going to dwindle my overall opinion or my acceptance of these figures. The fact that it's re-releasing some of these figures over and over again, like multiple Hacksaw Jim Duggins, multiple Ric Flairs, multiple Sergeant Slaughters, etc., it's not going to impact my overall decision. Same thing with like Macho Man, etc. It's not my preference, but as a consumer, as a collector, as a fan, I'm still going to do my diligence to try and keep up as much as I possibly can. So, I do want to go over this one. I know we're in excess of 10 minutes, but I do want to go over this one card again, because I do want those who are interested to kind of know the different figures that are out there, so that if you are interested in going onto the website, obviously, these figures aren't available anymore, so you will actually have to go onto the secondary market like Mercari, eBay, Etsy, etc. to try and track these figures down, but these last few figures are not available yet, but maybe at the end of the year or January, they should be popping up. So, Sergeant Slaughter, white shirt variant. Did it need to be made? Who knows? But I'm glad to have it nonetheless. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye, everybody.